Okay. Testing, testing. Hello. Hopefully people can hear me. We're kind of premature here. I think we're going to shift over these Q&As to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time because most of us real estate agents are just like still at work. So probably not the best time to do these at 5 p.m. CST. But for now, what we're going to do is just compile the questions from our Skool community and then get those answered since we prioritize the questions from the Skool students. And so I've got a list here. My team kind of compiled, I think, 10 or 12 questions. So I'm going to get these answered. And then once we answer these questions, if anyone else wants to just put a question in the comments, they can. Otherwise, we're just going to hop off. It's kind of a sad day today. Rest in peace to Charlie Kirk. What the hell, you know? So let's just get these answered and then hop off. All right, one sec. Let's see here. Cool. So we've got Tiffany is asking, what exactly does an apartment locator do and how is it different from a traditional real estate agent? So yeah, this is a very basic question. Tiffany, it looks like you just joined recently. So the difference between an apartment locator and a traditional real estate agent, there's no difference in license. So you have to be licensed as a real estate agent to do this niche in almost every state. Kind of the exception is Colorado. We called Dora on one of these live streams before because there was a rumor spreading that you didn't need a real estate license to do locating out in Colorado. So we called Dora, the Department of Real Estate and Agriculture out there, and we just straight up asked them on a live, and we're like, do you need a license or not in Colorado? Because the main market there for locating is Denver. And literally on a live that you can look up from before, they said, no, you don't need a real estate license to do anything multifamily. So kind of like the hack or the way you can get around having a license is just to focus on Denver, Colorado remote, since you can do this whole job from home and just locate that way without a license. Either way, we still recommend getting licensed, however, because it really just makes everything easier. You don't have to explain to other buildings that you don't need a license, and just your life becomes a whole lot easier. So to answer Tiffany's question, the difference between a locator and a realtor, locators focus on helping regular people rent regular apartments because it's way easier, right? If you look at the life cycle stages of traditional realtors, they just deal with so much stuff and so much like legal pressure. You know, a realtor has to, cold call. A lot of the times they do like for sale by owner cold calling, where they're convincing them that listing with them is a better idea than them listing alone. A lot of the times the realtors cold call on expireds listings that they just took down. So there's a lot of cold calling for lead gen, but as a locator, it's kind of swapped. We don't really do cold calling. We do more like warm calls. So like we post a bunch of free ads online, apartment specials on behalf of buildings, or we just promote our services directly. Like, hey, we're licensed agents. Our service is free. We know of all the best deals. If you need a rent, click the link below, right? So a lot of the times these leads come to us, not the other way around. There is no cold calling. Either someone is in the market to rent an apartment or they're not. So there's not really like a lot of cold calling convincing compared to being a realtor. So it's a lot easier to do locating with your real estate license instead of focusing on being a traditional realtor. That's why I like doing this model. It is just easier. And then while realtors have to, a lot of the times drive to properties because the resale, they're on lock boxes. There's no real way a realtor can work from home when they have to show new construction communities, go out there with the clients, unlock the lock boxes with the super key. So there's no way for a realtor really to work from home. But as a locator, you can finally work from home as a real estate agent, because as long as you're posting the right ads using the right organic platforms, these people come to you, you push them into your automatic survey, you book a 10-minute Zoom call, and you send them to apartments from home. And as long as they write your name on the application, you can earn $1,000 to $3,000 commission. So like where else have you heard a real estate agent be able to work from home? It's kind of impossible unless you're a locator. So that's another big benefit there. So that's kind of the difference. Locators deal with regular apartments, regular renters, not rental houses, because that's low pay. And then realtors will do rental houses and then house sales, right? Okay. The second question, let's see here. Apartments pay. Someone is asking, what's up? What's up, Felix? How do apartments pay 200%? A lot of the times, the 200% is a lot of commission. Usually, apartments wait until like the unit is vacant and no one's living in it for like a long time. Because as you can imagine, when apartments have vacant units, every single day that goes by, that's revenue lost, right? So it's good for you to know that, because if you want a really great deal on an apartment, then wait till it's vacant, because every day it's costing that apartment money. So if they're going to offer super high commissions like 200% to the locator's payment, or a month or 2 months free, it's only going to be ever offered on the vacant units that are losing the money. So kind of the secret for you to know if you're a renter, or for you to know to help other clients, is show them the vacant units. They not only pay you faster and pay you more, up to the 200% commissions, which ends up being 2 months out of the year contract, but there are better deals on vacant units. We just had one of our agents recently this morning texted us on Slack, and she's like, "Hey, I posted an ad this Thursday." Amy texted us. "I posted an ad Thursday for a brand new vacant unit. Friday, someone responded. I sent them out on tour. Saturday, they applied and got approved." So, you can really only do that when you market vacant units. They pay you higher since they're losing money, and your client gets a better deal as well. One sec here. Hopefully that helps Felix understand. Not established in the Northeast. So, Stav, what's up, brother? Why is locating not at all established in the Northeast? I grew up in Maryland, actually, and we do have students in Maryland, like Radia, one of our Locator Academy students. She's out in Maryland. We also have someone in Virginia Beach. We have another student in New York, and another, like 4 students in Boston. And so it's not that established out there, in the sense that the locating database that you use, those don't really cover that area. So this industry is small. I mean, if you look at how many locators are active compared to realtors, there's like 3,000 or less locators nationwide compared to 1.5 million realtors. So that's just such a little niche. It's ridiculous, right? So with such a tiny niche business in real estate, naturally, there's not a lot of like database providers. So if you guys don't know, a locator database is the main tool a locator will use. And kind of like the analogy there, the comparison is like, realtors really need access to the MLS. If you're a realtor, you need the MLS. But if you're a locator, you need the database. So there are 2 major databases. There is Smart Apartment Data. They're kind of the leader. Okay. They service some markets that are Northeast, but not really. And then the second largest database option is Spark Database. And what's cool is one of our Locator Academy students is the CEO of Spark, the second real option. So that's kind of cool to say. But with the database, that kind of shows you what apartments pay. It makes it easy to send a list over email to your clients, all using the database, and you can create invoices and send them out. So the problem with the Northeast, or really anywhere that's not covered in the database, is that there's no database coverage. So then you have to kind of create your own Google Sheet and then put apartments in there that you want to refer to. And you can really make this work at a 6-figure level, as long as you have like 2 or 3 buildings that pay commissions, or you reach out to them and then they have agreed to pay you 1 month out of the 12-month rent for referring renters. So the problem with the Northeast is like, there's no database coverage. So you have to take that additional step and create your own Google spreadsheet. but it's still doable. I mean, we still have students that do six figures out in like Maryland is super northeast, and there is no database coverage out in Maryland, but you can still do the job well if you create your own Google sheet. It's just one additional step. It's still easier than being a realtor. And just to kind of like show you that student, you guys want to see like the student that's out in Maryland crushing it? Let me play so you can hear it from her. 1 second, and then you can kind of hear it from her. Where is she? Where did she go? 1 sec here. Okay. Okay. And then where is it to live stream? Oh, I lost it. I lost her. Okay, we'll come back to that later. But yeah, you can make it work in Maryland. You just have to do the Google spreadsheet and then send it, like, then that becomes your database, not necessarily the two major ones. Okay, let's go up to here. And I'm a Florida real estate instructor. That's cool. Our head coach focuses on Fort Lauderdale as well, and now he does Texas. I would say you get licensed before you can do this in all 50 states. I would highly suggest you get licensed because you can do this in all 50 states, aka all the big locator commission cities. Yeah, for sure. It's definitely good to be licensed. I agree. It's just a lot smoother that way. That's cool that you're in Florida. I think like the really popular markets are definitely Texas and then Florida for sure. That's where Alex, our head coach, is based out of, is Fort Lauderdale, and he will do Texas locating from home, remote, and then also in Florida as well. Texas is just a little easier because it's easier to just send people without showing up. Hello, what's up, Rashida? How are you? Hello, do you have to have a realtor license? Yeah, you have to be licensed, except for earlier in this Q&A. The only exception to do apartment locating with no license is in Colorado. We call them on like the last live stream, we call DORA, the Department of Real Estate and Agriculture. And that's the only state where you don't actually have to have a license to do locating, but we still recommend, like David and I were recommending, just get licensed anyways. It's a lot easier. It's smoother. You don't have to keep explaining to people, I don't actually need a license. You got to pay me. It's just a lot smoother if you have a real estate license. And remember, having a real estate license is always worth it. Like, even if you don't become a real estate agent, because if you have your own license, I mean, you can hang your license at a cloud firm that'll just hold your license so you can make commission. And, if you're renting your own apartment, you can free up a month or 2 months of commission out of thin air. And I mean, a real estate license nowadays is like $1,000 max. So if you get your real estate license pass, and then for forever, when you rent an apartment, you can just earn that commission yourself. So that could be $2,000 or $3,000 every single time you rent, like just by having a real estate license. If you go and you buy your first home, that could be $10,000 or $20,000 out of thin air because you can earn commission on your own house sale. That's what I did in this house. You see how my house is 3D printed? You see how the walls are weird? This new home builder partnered with a company called Icon, and they gave me the 3% commission, like just because I had my real estate license. So it's never a waste of time to get your real estate license. Even if you don't work as a real estate agent, it's still worth it. If you rent or if you buy, you can free up commission out of thin air. Cool. Need to do it. I bought my realtor course through Champions and need to do it. Yeah. What's up, Trish? Yeah. Champions is really cool. I was in contact with them for a while. There's one here next to the Lifetime Fitness, here in like Austin. And it's a really good school. Our head coach went through Champions as well. They're expensive though. So there are definitely more affordable online options only. Like if you guys want to get licensed, just do it online. I flew through my license in exactly 22 days. From when I bought it, did it all online, and passed the test on my first attempt. It was 22 days exactly. Okay. Is it better to do your Skool courses before you have your license? Yeah, so we have three sort of offers at our company, NAL. The first one is like our most affordable offer. It's just access to the Skool community, and we give you our crash course in there that we used to sell for $1,500. That is free in the Skool community, and it's only $67 a month. So if you're interested to find out like, can this industry make sense for me? I don't know. Just do our low ticket, most affordable offer. I mean, you just sign up, $67. You can cancel whenever, and then you can go through the crash course that's designed to help you get infrastructure and then close your first 2 or 3 leases. That's the whole goal of that crash course, is like show you the business works, help you get 3 leases quick. And 3 leases nowadays with rent that has increased can look like $2,000, $4,000, $6,000. And so then what we do is we ask the Skool students if they want to actually advance or upgrade into our real program that's 2K. But we don't ask that until we help them get results by joining that Skool membership, which is our low ticket offer. I mean, that's just how we run paid ads, is to the most affordable offer. Okay. And so your question is, does it make sense to do the Skool courses before? Yeah, if you want. I mean, if you want to find out what it takes to be successful as a locator, it's definitely easier than being a realtor for the reasons we discussed in the beginning of this video. But yeah, you could do that. I think it could make sense. And then if you don't like it, you just cancel. I think we have a 7-day guarantee in there. Okay, yes. 22 days. Yeah, I know. I signed up. I went through, I think, a company called CE Source or something, and I started. And every single day, I'm like, I'm going to do my 4 or 5 chapters every single day. And in 22 days, I took the exam and got licensed on my first attempt. Yeah. Okay, let me go ahead and answer more of the Skool student questions real quick. And so let me pull that up, and I will answer that. Come here, Fifi. She doesn't want to hang out. You see my puppy? The King Charles Spaniel. She's an expensive dog. Okay. So I will be right back. I'm going to compile the rest of the Skool student questions so I can make sure to answer those and prioritize them as well. Okay, I'll be right back.
Welcome to this incredible success story from Jonathan, a dad who recently just welcomed his 3rd newborn. Jonathan's loving apartment locating because it's allowing him to work on his own schedule from home. And as a busy dad, that's a really important factor. Listen to how Jonathan is making a full-time income in this little-known niche of apartment locating. Let's hear it from him.
You can tell he knows how to market. It's really given me a lot of support and the tools I need to basically work as much as I want. I need, recently I had my 3rd baby, and if I can't be on the computer as much, you can automate as much as you need to still be productive. In your downtimes, you have the tools to ramp up as much as you want, and you have the support there. During the summer, I mean, in one apartment building, I didn't even meet these 3 clients. I closed 3 deals for 100% commission there. It was in a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks, and I didn't even meet them. It was all send, remote. I used the tools that I learned from Pierre and got the deal done. So I highly recommend it. He is on the cusp of something really great, and a lot of people are getting into apartments. They're hesitant to buy right now, so it's a perfect time to sign up, become a locator, and yeah, thanks a lot, Pierre.
If our students can receive results like this, then so can you. Tap the link below this video, take the next step, and we'll see you on the other side.
Okay, I've got the questions here. Yep. All right, let me answer the rest of these questions, like 4 to 10, and then we can hop off. You guys like how I spam you with my commercial? Okay. What challenges do locators, okay, Ashley is asking, what challenges do locators face when working with property management companies? Well, the big thing is that they just don't want to pay you, or they delay your payment. So a lot of the times, management companies will look for like any excuse to delay your payment. And so the way you kind of defeat that is, whenever you do a lease, you want to send an email, or get your collection staff to send an email with everything up front. So like when we send, okay, let me do it from the start. Like, say I help a client, I send them to an apartment, they apply, write my name down, so I'm good. That's a really easy process. It's like 3 steps. Free ad, they book a Zoom call with me, I do a 10-minute Zoom call, I send them out to the apartment by themselves, and then they write my name on the app. Done. That's my $3,000 commission. Now, collecting it is a different story if you do it wrong. Okay. So, what a lot of locators do is nothing. They just send an email and they're like, "Can you pay me?" And so, what you have to do is kind of like present everything that a management company would need in one email so you get paid faster. So when I send out like our collections email, this is how I train our collections staff, Ray. I tell him, send an email, attach the broker license because they always ask for that, attach the W-9 because they always ask for that, attach the errors and omissions insurance just in case they ask for that, and then attach the invoice for your $3,000 for 1.5 month commission. Okay. And then on top of that, you have in the email, we say, "Hey, here's the invoice. It was a pleasure referring our client to your property." And then we ask them, "Are there any vendor registrations that you require before we get paid, or any PO numbers?" Those are purchase order numbers that we need a request from you before we get paid. If you just send all of that in one email, it will just get you paid faster. And the reason is because some apartment communities require your company to register as a vendor before they pay you. It's not really a big deal. It's like $60 for the year and your broker takes care of it. But some apartments don't. You just send an email and they pay you and it's easy. We wish it would always work that way, but sometimes it doesn't. So the point is, you have to send an email with everything, because a lot of the times if you just send an invoice, the property gets your invoice and they're like, we'll pay you in 30 days. And then you follow up in 30 days and they're like, "Oh, we're missing your broker license." And you're like, "Oh, crap." Then you email over the broker license. And then a couple of days go by. "Oh, we're missing your W-9. So then you send the W-9. A few days go by. Then the weekend hits. So that's a week wasted. And then you're like, "Hey, do you have everything?" "Oh, we need your errors and omissions insurance." So they just find excuses to keep delaying payment. So what you need to do and just understand is like, you have to send everything at one time. Errors and omissions, broker license, W-9, the invoice. Are there any PO numbers? Done. And then they don't waste your time that way if you have everything kind of constructed in one email. And that's how you can get paid in 1 month, not 4 months, if you do this process wrong. So that's kind of what we do with collections. I hope that breakdown helped you. And of course, we teach all of that as well. Okay, question number 4, because we're not even halfway done with the Skool student questions here. Number 4, all right, Tony's asking, how do you build trust with renters who don't even know the locating industry exists? Yeah, that's most people. So just understanding that there are only like 3,000 active locators on the market compared to 1.5 million realtors. Once you know that, like, those are the real numbers, it kind of helps you understand that like most people just don't know what a locator is. I mean, did you know what a locator was before you saw one of my ads? Probably not. And so the way you you don't let that affect you is just by adding value, and that's it. And you just explain it to your clients in a simple way. So when I get leads, I just tell them, "Hey, by the way, I'm a locator, I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I work with all the properties in town," right? And so I just help you find what works for you. And a month later, they pay me a referral fee that doesn't change your rent or any of the specials. And people don't care because the service is free. So when you explain it to them like that, a lot of people are like, "Whatever, just you're helping me for free, so it doesn't really matter." So just understand that, like, your service as a locator is free. So as long as you're just like mentioning that to people, that this is what you do, the service is free, and it's not going to change their rent, then you're in the clear. It doesn't matter that people don't know that locators exist. All right, question number 5. What's the ideal timeline for a client to reach out to a locator before their move-in day? Yeah, that's a good question. So she's asking, like, let me repeat that. What's the ideal timeline for a client to reach out to a locator before their move date? So apartments operate on a 60-day notice, and that's really important to understand, because when you're constructing your paid advertisements, you need to know, like, the apartments only have availability for 2 months. Why is it 2 months? It's because that's what they require notices before someone vacates. You have to, usually give a 2-month notices. Some apartments will do like a 1-month notice, but generally speaking, it's 2 months. And so understanding that apartments only have availability for like immediately within the next 2 months, you really need to understand that as an agent, because that's what helps you construct paid ads, communicate with clients that. And so if you've got a client that's like looking to move 2.5 months in the future, so if today is September 10th and someone wants to move like, I don't know, like Thanksgiving, 2.5 months away, that's too long. So you can't really help someone in that situation because even the apartments don't know their own availability. So what you would do there is to let them know that they need to reach out to you, or you'll follow back up, hopefully automatically through your CRM. But you need to follow back up whenever they're within 2 months from the move-in date. And honestly, we talked about this in the beginning of this live. What's even better is if they reach out to you like less than a month from their move-in date, because chances are like 2 weeks from when they need to move in is better for you and better for the client. And that's because the unit might be vacant. And when it's a vacant apartment and it's costing that apartment money every single day, that's where you're going to get higher commissions, like up to 200% commission, because no one's living in the apartment and it's losing them revenue every day. So they tend to pay agents higher, and they tend to do like a larger special for your client, like 1 month or 2 months free. So straight up, I just tell clients, hey, reach out like 2 weeks before you need to move in so we can make sure to get you a large special. And then also I get paid more as an agent. So really like 2 weeks, like the ASAP move-ins are the best in locating. They pay you faster, they pay you more, and your client gets a better special. But yeah, the maximum is within 2 months though, because of the notice. All right, number 6, okay, how do locators compete with big companies like that try to streamline it online, like Lighthouse, etc.? Yeah, just a lot of people naturally, man. It's like human psychology. Like they just want the concierge type of service. Some people just want to talk to someone either over the phone or through a Zoom call and have us just be there as the person supporting. So I know what you're talking about. Like some locating companies try to like streamline it all online, and they have to like click in and it's all online. That can still work, but first of all, it's such a tiny niche in general. It's such a tiny unsaturated niche in general. Again, I keep bringing up the numbers, like there's less than 3,000 locators compared to over 1.5 million realtors. So like, first of all, nothing is saturated, but the way you compete with those companies is by just continuing to do what you do best, like connect with people. You're a real estate agent at the end of the day. So, you're going to take calls or do Zoom calls ideally, and then just being nice to them and then just helping them for free. That's never going to go away. People are always going to want support from a real person, and you can still make 6 figures, multiple 6 figures that way. So I wouldn't worry about companies like Lighthouse, etc. Okay, number 7. Let's see. What are the most common misconceptions renters have about using a locator? I would say a lot of people think that like if your approach is like weirdly salesy, they think that you're going to make a bunch of money just by like referring them anywhere. And so like I have a little script or something that I say, like if I feel like a client isn't trusting me, Zoom helps a lot with this. Like you see how I'm on a live stream, you guys get to see me. Imagine doing calls like that with clients instead of just being over a dumb phone call where they can't even see who they're talking to, right? So Zoom helps with the trust naturally if you actually have infrastructure that books Zoom calls for you. So that helps. But if I like get a feeling that a client doesn't trust me, or they think I'm like some weird salesperson because no one has heard of what a locator is, I just let them know. I try to nip it right away. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, look, by the way, working with me doesn't change your rental amount or any specials. In fact, I don't even get paid until 30 days after you move in. And I tell you that because it's within my interest to actually help you find what you're looking for. Otherwise, I know you're not going to apply and move in and stay moved in for a month. So I tell them that, and then they kind of like calm down. So I just let them know, like, I'm not even going to be paid unless you're in there for 30 days. So I'm really helping you find exactly what's going to work for you. And then kind of like their guard drops and they're like, oh, that's how it works. And then they realize that I'm not just trying to push them anywhere. So you can use that approach as well. How do you protect yourself from losing commission when a client goes dark? How do you protect yourself from losing commission when a client goes dark after touring? Um, well, here's the thing. If you're taking an initial appointment like on Zoom, the way I do exclusively, or you're just talking to them on the phone, you need to remind them on the first appointment that like it's a free service and all you ask is that they write or list your name on the rental application. So as long as you just remembered to remind them to write your name, I have clients that like they tour, I don't hear from them ever again because life happens. And I'm like, oh no, they're not responding. And somehow they applied and still wrote my name down. So you can kind of like double check by just calling the apartment. And a lot of the times, if you're cool, the apartments will just tell you, like, yeah, they applied and wrote your name down. Right. So that's one way to do it. But it's all about like reminding them on the initial appointment, write my name down, please. And then on top of that, when you if you're using a database and you send the list out, I know Spark does this and so does Smart. Before they even open up the list, there's a pop-up that appears and it's like, hey, just a reminder, please write my name on the app when you apply to any of these. And it makes them like click OK, and then the list opens. So that's part of the reminders. And then it's just about like kind of building that into your email and text systems as well. Like, so when someone books a Zoom call with me, I'll text them, I'll email them like leading up to the call and then right after the call. Like, hey, we had a great talk. Remember, my service is free. Keep in touch with me. And all I ask is that you write my name on the app. You have to have multiple touch points reminding them to list your name on the app. And then people just will, because it's not like we're in some sales industry where we're selling something for money. We offer a free service. So a lot of the times, as long as you can just remind people at multiple touch points, like leading up to the call, during the call, after the call, and then when you follow up, they're just going to list you. They're going to list you. Okay. It's a free service. All right. But if someone doesn't move on to the next lead, apartment locating is fast paced. Never cry and get held up over one lease. You know, I've closed 35 people 1 month. So if someone's giving you a hard time, instead of focusing on that, just worry about the next client. That's like the best advice I can give you. Let's see. Okay. 2 more questions from the Skool people, and then I'll look into the comments and then wrap this up. Okay, what's the difference between operating as a solo locator versus joining a brokerage? Well, you can't really do anything as a solo agent unless you have a broker's license. So anyone can get their real estate license, but to become a broker, like the way I am in Colorado, you have to have like 4 years of experience as an agent active, and then you have to take more schooling in order to be eligible to take your broker test. And the broker test is longer and more rigorous than the standard salesperson test. So if you're your own broker, if you got a broker license, then you can just affiliate with yourself and do the job solo. But if you just have a real estate agent, like standard salesperson license, then you have to like get sponsored by a company before you can do anything real estate. Okay, last question. How can locators scale their business beyond just working referrals? Yeah, so working referrals is great as a locator. I have relationships still with buildings where I'll buy them pizza and send them gift cards and Chipotle like once a week, and they just give me the traffic that they can't help. So you can imagine like with apartment staff, they get walk-ins, and sometimes they just don't have the right move-in date, or the budget is a little bit like not what the walk-in is looking for. And so instead of just like sending them away, they send them to me, and then I can close them for $2,000 or $3,000 commission. So referrals is really huge. Posting on organic free platforms, like using a Craigslist auto poster the way we teach in the Masterclass, or posting on Facebook Marketplace, uploading a video tour because Facebook lets you do that, and then really getting the most out of like Nextdoor, that app. Those are great ways to post organically, that with referrals. However, Like you can do 6 figures just by doing the free stuff. But once you really want to like kind of take it up a notch and really start driving traffic into your Zoom calendar and then have them do an automatic pre-qual survey, a lot of that gets done with paid advertisements. So I would say paid ads would be a way to scale your business predictably. The way we teach paid ads when you run cold campaigns is actually using YouTube first as your cold campaign source. If you try to market as a locator on Facebook or Instagram, you're going to fail hard because there's no filter where you can select on there, show to people in the market that are about to rent soon. But Google does have that filter. So when I run my cold ads or when we teach our students how to run cold ads, we're only using a YouTube ad. We're selecting that filter, show to people that you think are going to rent soon, and then that's what drives the cold campaign. So we'll do like an ad to the survey to book a call on the calendar, and that's how you scale appropriately, is by fueling Google ads with a video creative. That's just like the best direct response. Like you'll actually make money that way, is when you do like YouTube video creative, filter in your city people that are actually looking to rent soon, because Google has that data that they own, and then you run a 1 to 2 minute video ad to hit your survey, and then they just start the survey, book a Zoom call with you, and that's how you can scale predictably without wasting money on like Meta using a cold approach, which would be a mistake. Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, those are good only for remarketing if you're a locator. I hope that works. We have a lot of more like tutorials and stuff like in the actual program. Okay. Other than that, that covers all the questions there. Let me just see if I missed any here. Okay. David is answering some questions. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you helping me answer some questions here for people. Okay. So each apartment client could have an average of a lifetime value of like 180,000, considering home sales and multiple referrals from each client. Yeah, that's true, man. I mean, that's a high LTV, but yeah, you're right. What David is saying is like, yeah, you might make $1,000 or $2,000 initially, but that person is going to refer you other people, like friends and family members, that you can close again as a locator. And then once they all advance and become first-time home buyers, that's 10 or 20K a pop each, So what's really cool is like once you start getting good with paid advertisements as well, and you refine your ads using our King of the Hill method. I don't want to get too much into paid ads and just because then it gets really nerdy. But what we do is we start with like a cold campaign on YouTube, and we run 2 ads, one main ad and a challenger ad. And then depending on like which ad performs better, you pause the loser, scale the winner, and then add a new challenger. When you keep rinsing and repeating that until you find really great ads that work for you with paid ads, sometimes you can put $50 in to the YouTube ad, you get like a booked call, and then you close them as a locator for like $2,000 commissions because the service is free. We're literally in sales and we don't have to sell anyone anything for money. It's a free service and they're looking for an apartment, right? So $50 on YouTube ad. If you do it the right way in time, you can come down to $50. There's a book call on your calendar, close them for 2K. And then if they give you referrals, it's even more profitable. And if they advance to a first-time home buyer, that's 10 grand. So imagine that, from $50 to 2K to 10K, and then plus referrals. So paid advertisements, really, it works a lot easier with a real estate agent or a locator because we don't have cost of goods or inventory to deal with. I used to sell on Amazon FBA. I had to deal with like inventory costs, profit margins. There's none of that. You just run an ad to your calendar, you help someone for free, that's $2,000. You keep building a relationship with them through your CRM automatically. And then once they want to buy a house, that's $10,000. You can't really get that kind of ROI from a $50 YouTube ad in any other business. That's why paid advertisement gets really exciting if you do it properly. Okay, let me continue before I continue nerding out. Can't realtors also be apartment locators? Yeah, it's the same thing. So a locator and a realtor is just a licensed real estate agent, but realtors focus on houses and locators focus on regular apartments because it's easier. and now and nowadays, if get this, locators average more income than realtors. It's a straight up fact now. I used to say this years ago and no one believed me, but now if you go to Glassdoor or Indeed.com or just ask ChatGPT, locator, the average income is 80K, where realtors are at 50. So that's just something to think about. Like, just go look it up yourself. You don't even have to trust me. Okay. What do you think of listing apartments on the MLS? we get that question. What's up, Aaron? We get that question like once a month, like what we think about listing apartments on the MLS. It doesn't really work out once you really understand the nature of locating. Because I get it. Like the idea is that like you're the listing agent for this apartment with a bunch of vacancies, and then so you get leads that way, and then you get locator commission. The problem with that is like it requires a custom agreement from the apartment. So like to approach an apartment and be like, "Hi, I'm a locator. I want to exclusively list this on the MLS with a contract," and then just send you clients that way. We had a student like that did that, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense because it's not a common practice. It's just not a common practice. A lot of the times the buildings won't understand why you want to put it on the MLS when they have other locators just referring them clients through their own lead gen efforts. So it's like kind of weird to explain to an apartment building. And then you got to get a contract signed, which is way more work, where there usually is no contracts involved in the locator process at all. So it just gets kind of like weird. And then also like why? I guess you get exposure on the MLS a little bit, but it's not common. It's just a weird thing. I don't think that there's like a huge competitive advantage to do that, where you can just post a bunch of free ads or run a paid ad, book a call, and just send someone to an apartment from home. I mean, then there's no contracts involved. Just do it the regular way. Okay. You can locate if you want, bro. Allows it legally speaking. Yes, unless you can do apartment locating all 50 states. Yep, David is in there answering. When Pierce says there are 3K, does that mean locator focus can do locating too? Yeah. So when I say like there's 3,000 locators active compared to 1.5 million realtors, it's the real estate agents that are actually full-time focusing on this. And so if you guys are curious on like how we came up with that number, first of all, when you're a real estate agent, all of your contact info is public information. So like it's all on the Real Estate Commission website. And so if you do a search in the Real Estate Commission website and you target a certain keyword, this is how we found this out. So we went to like every state's real estate commission. We did this a couple years ago. And then we looked up the keywords locator, apartment locator, like rental specialist, and we just saw all of the licenses where they were either sponsored by a company with that in their names, or they had something in their license history, or they had just some kind of activity related to like locating, apartment locator, etc. And then we cross-referenced the real estate commissions for that information, along with this one other database that has all real estate agent activity on, because it's all public info. And so once we kind of looked up all those keywords, we added it all up, and it was like less than 3,000 real estate agents that were affiliated at all with the term locator, apartment locating, rentals, all of that. So that's kind of like how we know that it's less than like 3,000. We don't know the exact number, but we know it's like less than 3,000 agents are actively marketing themselves as like active apartment locators. Okay, so we checked the real estate commission and then this other database as well. I forget the name. And so that's how we know that. And if you look up like realtor, it's just like over 1 million. So that's how you would know the comparison there. Okay, let's see. Into one is solely focus on. Do you recommend your clients to use security deposit? Pierre, do you recommend to your clients to use one of the security deposit insurance companies? Had any friction with using those? Yeah, no, those are cool sometimes. I think you're talking about like the surety bonds. So like, David, what you're trying to ask is sometimes you have a client, you help them apply to an apartment, their credit's not that hot, like 590. And so then they have two options. There's like, you can pay 1 month full deposit up front, or you can do this like surety bond thing where it's a $199 fee and then it's kind of guaranteed. and then this, right? So I think that's what you're talking about, like to do that. Yeah, I haven't had an issue with those. There's this one company that it's called like One App or something like that. So I know what you're talking about, like having your clients do either the surety bond fee thing or go through a company like One App Guarantee or something like that. Yeah, if you can get them approved, then it'll work. The problem is that even though they approve lower credit scores compared to the apartment, it's not ever like a 100% approval. So, if someone has like a 500 credit score, sometimes even One App or these other surety companies just won't approve them. So if you can get them approved, yeah, it works every time. Okay, I need another license. So do I need another license as a locator? No, you don't. You don't. As long as you have a real estate license, you can do apartment locating. There's just no training. Like, you remember when you got your license, Nora? You're asking, like, remember when you got your license? Did you ever get any training about apartment locating? Probably not. That's because there's only 3,000 of us compared to 1.5 million realtors. That's why my business is alive and thriving, because there's no real education on the locator industry. But yeah, you don't need like a special license as long as you're a real estate agent. You just have to affiliate under a brokerage firm that specializes in apartment locating, because that way they know how to do your collections well and stuff. It's all about the collections. Okay. You're welcome, Erin. Thanks for commenting. She says, hey, Pierre, thanks for answering my question. I always appreciate everyone being polite. Nora, you don't. Let's see here. What other services do you offer to your clients to add value? And this is a good one. What's up, Tiffany? So what other services do you offer to your clients to add value? At our company, you know how like some locators do cash rebates? I think that's a big mistake because like you're already offering a free service. So when you try to give cash to people, first of all, it's weird. And then if you market that in ads, then it seems scammy. Isn't that crazy, right? Because I know the intention there is positive. Like you want to give back some of your commission in the form of a rebate to add value. But when you market that in an ad or on your website, the general public, because we've split tested this, they think it's scammy because they're like, wait a second, it's some company. I don't know what a locator is because no one does. There's only 3,000 of us. And they're thinking like, okay, it's a free service. And then they're going to give me $200 in cash. Scam. And so we actually never market rebates. But what I've developed at my company is instead of coming out of pocket and doing like a real cash rebate, we have this program called NAL rebate. And what that program is, we kind of like keep it for only our students or our sponsored agents. But with NAL rebate, you can actually give your clients like $100 restaurant savings like voucher thing. And it's good in all over the United States and in Canada. And what that is it costs you $9.50 to activate for your clients that you should pay, but then they get $100 and like buy one, get one free or 50% off in local restaurants around major cities. So I use the coupon because sometimes I send it to myself and I used it at like First Watch and I got half off of food. If you guys ever been to First Watch restaurant, so that's kind of cool. And we give that to clients sometimes instead of like real cash rebates because like it's only $9 for us to do that instead of like giving someone $100 and it's a free service. So I mean, if we ever do rebates, it's through our NAL rebate program. A lot of the times though, we just kind of save that rebate offer for our CRM automation. So like if I get ghosted, the CRM that I teach is Locator IQ. You see it here or here. That's the all-in-one CRM we have. We have a ghosting automation set up to where if our clients ghost us, the system automatically recognizes they're not responding to you and it's been this many days, and it pushes them to a ghosting automation. And in that automation, we fire off emails and texts that are like, hey, we're doing the NAL rebate. It's $100. Like, are you still looking for a place? And then we hit them with like once every couple of days, we'll hit them with like a testimonial. We'll show them like, hey, we got our last client, Rachel, like 2 months free at this place, Citizen House. Do you need help? And so it runs them through a ghosting automation where the goal is as long as they reply one time, then it ends. So you're not spamming anyone. But what's cool is I like to add the NAL rebate offer into my ghosting automation. So when people ghost me, then it starts offering them the $100 rebate voucher. And then it just gets them to reply back, ultimately defeating ghosting. So we use that as a CRM automation, and that's where we really get the most out of the rebate program. Okay, let's see here. You can start. Let's see here. The guarantors Leap, Jetty, Rhino, Obligo, Lease Lock all offer security deposit insurance, some even renters insurance also. Yeah. Dang, David, you're sharp, brother. You know what's up. Thank you so much, Pierre. I appreciate you. Yeah, you're welcome, Trish. Hey, we do these, by the way, every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We were a little bit late today because sadly, RIP Charlie Kirk. So, I mean, that's why we were late today. I was kind of torn about that event earlier today. But we do these live events Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think I'm going to change it to 6 p.m. though, because most of us are still at work and stuff. And so, that way there's more of us on here asking questions and stuff. But yeah, so we're going to do these again. I think that's about an hour worth of Q&As. I ran through like 10 or 12 questions from the Skool students. And yeah, so if you guys want to understand what our most affordable Skool offer is all about, let me spam you with this commercial.
Hey there, it's Pierre. If you've been enjoying the lesson so far and you're serious about taking your skills to the next level, we've built something just for you. Outside of this platform, we host an interactive learning community where students can dive deeper, get live support, and connect with others on the same journey into six-figure apartment locating. Inside, you'll find weekly group coaching calls conducted on Zoom, extra training modules you won't see in here, like our shadowing module, where you can see me and other head coaches close apartment locator deals live on Zoom. And when you join, we'll even hook you up with a complimentary kickoff call. It's a 30-minute Zoom call conducted with our head coach. This will give us a chance to meet you live on Zoom and help guide your next steps with clarity. If that all sounds helpful to you, feel free to check it out and see if it's a good fit. You can find everything right over here, or you can just check below this video to get started. We hope to meet you over Zoom and see you on the inside.
Okay, cool. I think that kind of wraps it up. Yes, RIP Charlie for sure. What the heck? Yes, I appreciate your answer. You're welcome. That was my next question. No idea how to bill for rentals, so I have shied away from rentals. Yeah, no, don't shy away. I mean, this is what we do. When I started as a realtor in 45 days, I completely sucked. I didn't close anyone, even though I worked full time for like 10 days in a row. And then luckily I just live in Austin, where apartment locating started. It started in Austin and it spread to the major cities. Now it's in Florida, it's in Denver, Colorado, Nashville, Tennessee, Phoenix, Arizona, Chicago, and one other one, Atlanta, Georgia. Those are like the main locator markets. But you can do this anywhere. We have students in the US Virgin Islands. She's awesome, making it work just through a Google Sheet because there's no database access out there, but you can still make this work with a Google Sheet. We got a student, Radia, in Maryland. We have others in New York and Boston. So you can do this anywhere, but it is easier in the major states like Florida, Texas, Atlanta, Phoenix. Like, it is easier over there because we have database coverage, and that makes this whole job a breeze. So yeah, it's just all about like understanding how to do the business well, and then getting sponsored by a broker that truly focuses on locating. Because we've had a lot of students, we've trained over 700 agents at this time, and some of them are like with big brokerage firms, and there's nothing wrong with them. Like, all those companies are great. EXP is crushing it, Remax is great, Keller Williams, they're all great firms, but they don't really understand locating. And so the problem there becomes collections. It's really easy as a real estate agent to make a bunch of money as a locator. You're booking calls, sending them to apartments. You don't even have to drive, and they're writing your name down. So like, anyone can make a bunch of commission, but collecting it, if you're with the wrong firm, it's hard to collect on time. Because to help you put that into perspective, if you're with a firm that does locating, you're going to get your checks within a month. But if you're at a firm that doesn't do collections well, it's going to take 4 months to get those checks. And so if you do $10,000 a month, but you're not collecting it in 1 month, well, if you got to spread that out to 4 months, now you're really only doing 2.5K a month. So collections and timing is actually really a big deal. So, yes, money making is easier as a locator. It's already proven by Indeed.com, Glassdoor. Go look at the average salaries. But the big bottleneck is like going with a company that actually does locating full time so you can collect your commission on time. Anyways, with that, I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So put it on your calendar, or tell Alexa, or ask ChatGPT to remind you, and it will. All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.